Hello, 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 ladies. Welcome back to another episode of the Create and Grow Your Dream Business podcast. My name is Breye'l Banks. If this is your first time tuning in, and I am super excited, as always, for the chat that we are going to have today. And as you can already see from the title, we have a beautiful guest, Miss Abigail, and she and I are going to be talking about getting that emotional upgrade, right? Like creating that new story. And before we jump right in, I'm going to allow Abigail to tell you about herself, but I just want to let y'all know this really quick. Abigail is lit, okay? She just came back from Egypt for 2 weeks. And my girl was in hot air balloons. She was in the pyramid. She was in the sand. She was at the water. She just took in earth, wind, fire, smoke, everything you can think of. She spiritually charged up. So I'm going to let you know if when you listen to this message, she snatches all your spiritual edges, don't be surprised.
Oh, Bria, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. You're just such a gift and such a blessing. And I'm so excited for this conversation. Ladies, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Abigail, as she said, Abigail, Abby, whatever suits you. I answer to both. I am the founder and owner and CEO of Breath of Life. This is my baby. Um, I created her because I really wanted a place where people who are like me or people who want to learn how to honor their intuition and understand their gifts and their abilities could go without feeling crazy, but also because I'm a healer. I'm a medical intuitive, I'm a master healer, and I'm a nurse by trade. And healing was not just my mission on this planet, but it's legitimately who I am. It called to me when I was very, very little. I think the first time I said I was going to create my own hospital was when I was 6. And had this really grand idea to create this hospital that was in the shape of a medicine wheel and had spokes, and it had all of the Western medicine, but it also integrated all of the Eastern medicine. I'm not even kidding, guys. Like my mom has stories. um, and it just kept growing for me. I was that kid that could hear spirits. I knew things were going to happen before they happened. And I was what most people would call weird. And come to find out I wasn't weird. It was just really in tune
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
stuff going on around. So maybe some of you resonate with that, maybe some of you don't, but hopefully through this conversation you're going to learn a lot, and we'll be able to kind of open and expand some things for you.
Yeah, and you said it the perfect way too, because I was taking a look at the picture behind you too, right? And that's what the emotions can sometimes feel like in our heads when we are having these experiences, right? Of the next level of becoming more. And the one thing I love that's so beautiful about like the podcast that I'm hosting is that it's so much deeper than business, right? Because while we can of course be amazing business women, the
Mm-hmm.
spiritual aspect of creating and attracting and manifesting is so powerful. And I heard you say it, which is like the basis of like the podcast, create and grow. Like you said, you created Breath of Life. She's your baby, right? And how important do you think it is for women to be under the perspective of like recognizing that we are always in creation mode?
Oh my gosh. Like if you're not there, you're really too far to your right. You're way in your left brain. So I'll throw out a little science for people, right? The right side of our body is controlled by the left side of our brain. The right side of our body is considered male, right? Our divine masculine. Therefore, our left brain is considered our more masculine half of our brain. Very analytical,
Mhm.
very logical, very task driven. Our right brain is our feminine, which means it's controlling our left side of our body, right? Some of you are probably very well aware of this. if you are not in this creation mode, if you're not really understanding how to be in the flow of creation as well as the birthing part, right? There, some of you I can already feel are like making the connection between the divine feminine and your sacral chakra,
Right.
right? The place of your birthing and the creation, not just our sexuality and sensuality, right? But that creative place, that birthing place. If you're not in connection with that, or you're not in this real good balance, which is really where we should be. It should be this balance
Right.
between our divine feminine and our divine masculine. Then you're just too far into your divine, into your masculine. So much so that it's probably not divine anymore.
Yeah.
And so when we look at what it is to become more, to have your world be right. And I'm a firm believer that there are no business problems. There's just life problems.
I agree.
So
I agree.
anything that is right, anything that is going off in your business, you can, if you look at your life, I guarantee you'll be able to find a one-to-one.
Mm,
So if you're having a hard time connecting with your audience, right? You're probably having a hard time connecting with your partner in life. You're probably having a hard time connecting with your siblings or your friends, right? If you're having a hard time making money in your business, it may not be as one to one as you're having a hard time making money in your like life, right? Like maybe your business right now is a baby business, right? Like mine, and it is just starting to get its legs under it. So you still got your other job, right?
right.
I still work at the hospital, so I'm an emergency room nurse. So maybe you're struggling there, or maybe you're struggling finding other avenues for hobbies or things like that, other areas of revenue, right?
Right.
Or maybe it's not necessarily a one-to-one of like money to money, but maybe it's like money as a form of like stability financially, or just plain abundance. And you're looking at your personal life and you're like, how much abundance am I seeing here? Like, what's going on, right? So definitely very, very, very important to have this connection, this understanding within yourself that you are the creator, the
Mhm.
creatrix, however you want to say that, of your life, and
Yeah.
that life being your business, your personal life, all of it together, and being in that divine feminine and really connecting to both halves of who you are
Yeah.
is what's going to make everything work well,
Yeah.
and better than well.
Yes. No,
All of it.
seriously. That's it. So, okay. Okay. I'm tuned in, right? I know the ladies are tuned in too. They already know. Okay. This is for me, this is for us, this is for we, this is for them, right?
Absolutely.
I love these conversations. So, let's say there's a lady listening to this podcast, right? And often, sometimes, let me not say often, sometimes when we have these conversations, um, there are two different people, right? There are some people who are on the creation side, and there are some people who are on the growth side, right? Some people listening to this podcast and they're like, okay, wait a minute, you just flipped the script on me. Everything you said is it, right? Like I got this job, but how do I create these other revenues? What does that look like? What does the creation aspect look like? And then you have the other half of the women in queenhood who are under the perspective of, okay, so I'm already kind of balanced out between I have the job, I've been running my business, like you said, maybe the business baby is about 1 to 3, 1 to 5 years old, somewhere right there, and maybe they're stuck right there of trying to see what are, other than, of course, like you said, like the signs that there is the off balance, what's the next step? What's the actual step? Because we hear all the time, like, get in balance, get in balance. If you're off, get in balance. So of course now you're like, well, was I ever even standing on one foot?
Yes. Yes, I completely hear you. Yes, and I'm so glad that you are pushing us here, real honestly, because I absolutely hate those podcasts where people are like, "Oh, you just need to do this one vague thing," but there is literally 1,000 things that could go along with that. Um, but nobody ever says not even one of those 1,000 things.
Right.
So let's actually talk about that. So getting into balance, number 1 starts with you have to get inside of your heart space. What does that look like? That means sitting down in a quiet space, and I want you to do one of two things. Either get a mirror or get a piece of paper
Mm-hmm.
and a pen. If you have a mirror, just know like you may want to journal some things down afterward, or you may just want to record yourself so you know how what you're saying so that you can listen to it back. Okay. But in this process, a couple of things should occur. Number 1, you should be writing down your fears.
Mm-hmm.
What are you afraid of? And I want you to go deep. I want you to really push yourself. Are you afraid of making money? Because all of a sudden that means that you can't be in your victimhood anymore. You can't be saying, "Well, I'm not making any money and it's too hard for me." Right? Are you are you afraid of becoming the next aspect, the next highest version of you? Because that means that you have obligations,
Mm-hmm.
you have responsibilities that you're taking on, right? Because you are going to have more work to do,
Yeah.
right? People like to think that those that run businesses, and all of you ladies, if you've got businesses of your own, if you're a manager, you understand that while, you know, the people beneath you might look up and say, well, they're not really doing anything. We know different. We know different.
Right.
Okay. Like, and I say that fully having been one of those people that was the underlings at one point going, I don't understand what they're doing because I'm doing fucking everything.
Right.
Okay. Like, and now on the other side of that going, oh my gosh, there's like so many things that I
You're
have
like,
to
can
do.
I get 10 assistants, please?
Yeah, exactly. And could I just go back to that time when I was just stocking shelves and, you know,
Mm.
and talking to customers because I I would really prefer just that. That would be awesome.
And sometimes
Um,
that's a fear too, right?
right?
That women don't have the courage. That's one of the things that I teach in my business. I help women boost their confidence, right? Most of my ideal clients have some lack in the ability to create their business. And isn't that a part where you're just so frozen in fear, which is another podcast topic. I talk it with another lady that you're like, oh my gosh, like what if my business doesn't work? What if they don't like me? What if I'm not attracted to them? What if I never sign a client this month? What if they want their money back? What if I tell them I can do this but then they don't get the transformation? That's a fear.
Yes, absolutely. Write them all down.
Mhm.
After you write them down, I want you to flip the script on yourself. I
Mm.
want you to write down all of the things that you're grateful for. And this is really, really important. A lot of people will only stop at the fear part just because they're like, well, as long as my fears are in front of me, it'll be okay because then I know what to avoid.
I told y'all she was gonna call us out.
But the thing is, though, is that understanding your fears is only the first part. If we stay there, if all we're doing is looking at our fears, we're automatically going to bring that to us,
Mhm.
right? Some people call life the law of mirrors, where we are the mirror and that which is coming towards us is simply what we're reflecting out.
Mhm.
Some people call it the law of attraction. It
Mhm.
doesn't really matter to me what you call it, where whatever energy you're putting out, that's what you're attracting, right? We don't want to stay in our fears. We want to stay, we want to get them out, right? We want to like not have them sitting in our bodies. That's
Right.
where looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, Abigail, you are afraid of becoming a master. You are afraid of what it means to have to hold that many people, that much energy, having that much power. You are afraid of stepping into your power, right? When we put that in front of ourselves and we say it, we have to then feel our body,
Mhm.
right? Thankfully, after Egypt, I can say that and I feel nothing in my body because I've already worked through that.
Right.
For a lot of you women, you're going to do this practice and you're going to feel something in your body. You're going to feel your stomach start to cramp or your heart start to get really heavy. You're going to feel your body start to like crunch inward. You're going to start feeling like it's hard to breathe. Maybe your chest gets tight. I want you to just sit. This is step 2. You sit, and even if you were writing, right, you're going to feel the same things because you're writing out all those things and you're looking at them for probably for the first time, maybe some of you
Right.
looking at them and really like assessing and going, damn, is this even for me? Should I even go there? Sit for a second. This
Mm-hmm.
is step 2. Sit. Let your body feel it. The emotions that you are feeling right now is how your body is talking to you. This is a really important lesson, guys, and this is something that I teach in my courses to my students, is that it's not symptoms that makes your body talk to you. It's not how your body is talking to you. Your tense muscles, your sore neck, your sore back, your cough, your sneeze, those are not the way your body is talking to you. Those are simply reactions your body is having to something that's happening internally or externally to you.
Mm.
It's the emotions that you are feeling. That is how your body is talking to you. So when you're sitting down doing this exercise and you start feeling these feelings, I need you to sit and I need you to acknowledge them and I need you to work through it. I need you to ask yourself, why, right? Why? And what? What can I do? What can I do to help you feel safe? Like fear, anxiety, worry, stress, doubt,
Yeah.
all of those things, frustration, anger. Some of you are going to realize like you're pissed.
Yeah.
You're pissed. You're pissed at yourself. You're pissed at the world. You're
Yeah.
pissed at something, right? Bring it up. Bring it up and say, what? What is it that I can do? Eventually, you're going to feel your body lighten.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you don't, understand that there's resources out there. I can help you with this. Therapists can help you with this, right? Because there's probably something a little bit more that's going on. We got to
Right.
work through that, right? And it's important not to put this stuff on the back burner. We're talking about growing and creating your life, your
Right.
business, right?
Right.
Do not put this stuff on the back burner, right? This is the stuff that's going to move you through and into
Facts.
the most abundant space you can possibly be in. Once that stuff lightens out and your body relaxes because you've listened to it, you've
Mm-hmm.
listened to your body, you've acknowledged that you feel this way, write a list out of gratitude.
Yeah.
What are you excited about? What are you grateful for? What is it that you are thanking God for on your knees and in your heart? What is it that you are really like internalizing and just throwing up grace for,
Yeah.
right? And this can be at, for your business, for your life just in general. And it's important to flip the script on yourself here because when you do, and when you're operating from this space, that gratitude space and that love space, that is what you want the world to start reflecting back to you. That is what you want to start attracting. And you'll realize that that list is a heck of a lot more powerful than the fears list. And
Yeah.
you can honestly start to really come down to it of, are you willing? Are you willing to live your mission and your passion so deeply that it does not matter how much you are afraid?
Yeah.
There is only like point, I wish I knew the actual statistic of the number of women of color, hell, the number of women who are top CEOs in this country and in the world,
Yeah.
right? They didn't get there because somebody handed it to them. They didn't get there because they allowed their fear to outweigh their gratitude and their love for what they're doing, their mission in life, their purpose, their path, right? And if you were brave enough and courageous enough to start a business, let me tell you, you're already doing something that 99% of people won't do. They won't
Right.
do it.
That's so
right?
true. That is so true, right? Like that's so true because what's interesting is that oh my gosh, when you were talking, it made me think about like me as the business owner, right? As the woman who helps women every single day with their confidence. You made me ask myself a question. What is, if there is, has to be the difference between confidence and gratitude,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Because
yeah.
when I think about myself, the confidence is there, right? Like if you tell me, like, oh, Breye'l, you'll be speaking at like amphitheater with 50,000 people. I don't doubt you, right? This does not feel like something that's extremely far-fetched. It feels like this can happen in November. Go ahead and sign me up,
Yes.
right? But that's confidence.
Yes.
But the gratitude is a totally different aspect. And I think, personally speaking for myself, this conversation already has just helped me tap in and recognize that that is my disconnect. I have not been expressing gratitude. I've been skipping over the gratitude part as if that is just a given,
Yes.
right? Kind of like, God, you know I'm grateful. Now come on with the next.
I
Hold
love
up.
it. Yes.
I'm about to make you cry.
Yes. I love this. Yes. And you know what? You're not alone. You're not alone. I struggle with that too. I look around and I'm like, oh shit, when was the last time that I just got quiet and
Yeah,
talked to source and was like, everything that you have given me,
yeah,
every opportunity you've presented to me, every closed door that has protected me, every person that has decided to sign up with me, every student I have taught, every client, every patient that has allowed me to practice my skills to achieve mastery, right? Thank you.
right.
Thank you. I am glad for where I am.
Yeah,
This is beautiful. And if I never get any farther than this, I have achieved
right.
everything I have ever wanted to achieve.
Yeah,
But and that is not a but that is going to negate any
right.
of that. In fact, because I'm on this practice, I'm trying not to use the word but because it usually does like negate everything that just came before. So we're going to say, and,
And
right? And I know that you've got more for me. And how
yeah,
do I know that? Because I want more for me.
yeah,
I am grateful for everything that I have right here. And I'm ready for you to show me how good it can get.
yeah,
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
There is, I've been really tapped into Inigo
Mhm.
lately, and their lyrics are just absolutely phenomenal. And their new song, Jericho, has a line in it. And it says, no need to be humble.
Oh my
And
gosh. Oh my gosh. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I'm so happy you talked about that. And I want you to finish, but I've been talking to the ladies about this word humble so much because we use this word off the strength of the culture where humble means to be of less importance. And we say it so often. Oh, I just want to be humble. So I just want to be of less importance. No.
right? Absolutely not. And this is where people need a much larger emotional vocabulary.
Mm,
Guys, this is lesson 2 I can give you. If you don't have an emotional vocabulary that exceeds happy, mad, and sad, sweets, you are stunting yourself. You
yeah.
are stunting yourself. You're probably realizing that you get sick a lot. You are probably realizing that you are struggling with relationships. You are probably realizing that you're having a hard time communicating, right? Because if you only have those 3 emotions, let me tell you, there is so much more out there.
Yeah.
Disgust, envy, jealousy, both envy and jealousy, not the same things. People misuse them all the time.
Yep.
All the time. Rage, different than anger,
Right.
also misused all the time, right? So there are so, and those are just those are just some, right? You know, it's insane to me that we expect that we're going to somewhere learn this stuff. And this is my other point, guys. I don't want you to feel bad about any of this.
Right.
Not at all. At 33, in my year of mastery,
Right.
I have done a heck of a lot this year, realizing that our society, global or, the States, it doesn't matter. Globally, we do not get the education that we should.
Right.
Okay.
We're talking spiritual education, like the
Yes.
planets and the stars matter.
Yes. And so, but point being, don't use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, there are so many resources out there. You can learn right now. You can teach old dogs new tricks. You can change your personality, and I love this from Joe Dispenza. He says, if you change your personality, you change your personal reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Joe. I got to start back listening to Joe.
He's amazing. He's amazing. And I love him for multiple reasons. A lot of it because what I do as a medical intuitive, he's actually bringing out the science showing why it's important.
Yeah, he does.
Right? So, it's just understand that, like, none of this, you're never too late. You're never
Yeah.
too late.
Yeah.
All of this is just steps to your next level, steps to your ascension, steps to your getting one step closer to unity with God, right? Unity with the universe or source or however you want to call it, right? So yes, it's there's no reason to sit back and think that if you are that being humble is somehow your way to getting more.
Right.
And here I know this is a podcast for ladies, and I'm gonna just say, like, I need you to, when you're going through this process, right, in order to be able to find balance, right, because that's where we started, right? We're doing this practice of writing down our feelings and writing down our gratitudes and sitting in getting ourselves into alignment in ourselves so that we can then be able to take the next best step forward for ourselves, whether that's in our creation mode or in our growth mode.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Once you have done this practice, I need you to step into and embody your inner white male.
Right, please.
Because let me tell you, that inner white male is not humble. He's not scared.
The inner white
He's
male wakes
entitled.
up with the action. He's like, where's the action?
He's not afraid to ask for a raise.
Right.
He is not afraid to pitch to somebody. If he has his receipts,
Yeah.
he is ready to go.
Yeah.
So, ladies, step in and embody that.
Yeah.
And wake up every morning saying, body, how can I honor you today? How can I honor you today?
Yeah.
God, how can I honor you? Now let me step forth and be of service.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And the service part is really the connection that we have to make as women who are desiring to become more, right? Like the realization that the only way you will ever truly have abundance in life is through serving, right? Like oftentimes we've given so much as children, we've given so much in situationships, we've given so much in marriage, we've given so much in to the children, to our parents, and then there comes like a blockage where we start to feel like, well, who's going to give to me? And it's so interesting because it really is the inner work of giving to yourself that is so hard. It is so easy to give to other people, even though we're drained. But the moment it's time to sit down for 5 minutes of inner work, who got 5 minutes?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So this is a great point. And I've just recently integrated a lesson that has been so transformational for me. Do y'all know the 5 love languages?
Mhm.
Real, what's your love language? What's your primary one?
My primary love language is quality time.
Okay. Mine's touch.
Oh,
So
okay.
a lot of people believe that your love language is how you receive love from other people.
Right.
This is where they get it twisted. It
Mm,
is, but that is not the primary reason for love languages. The primary reason for love languages is how you receive love from yourself.
that's the truth.
When I'm out and about, you'll probably notice me doing something like this.
Mm.
As a primary love language of touch, I hold my own hand often.
Yeah.
Often. I usually am standing with my arms probably like, this where they're crossed, but they're not like crossed, like angry crossed, but then just like one over the other because I'm rubbing my own arm. I'm
Right.
showing up for myself,
Yeah.
right? People who have quality time like yourself, showing love for yourself means giving yourself quality time with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, this is divine timing. It's always divine timing, right? And what you're saying is so true. Because, like when I was telling you before we got on here, these past couple weeks, I've been feeling like so drained. And, my husband and I, we travel around the country full time. So I'm always in the truck. Like it's always me and him. Then I run the business and all of that. So, literally, when Mercury went retrograde, and then we had Jupiter, Mars, and all them, everybody came into conjunction. They sat down at the table and said, "We about to whip Breye'l ass, right, right." And here I was forced to detach away from my husband. So then I made the decision. Okay, we already live in Florida, but I said I'm gonna come down to my brother's house, and here I am now at my brother's house, and I'm leaving today because
Mm.
I thought I went from one scenario trying to get away from that and then came over here. And now this situation is static because it's to what you're saying. Like, I still have yet to give myself the quality time of what I need. And so while I thought I was resolving the problem, I never did because I have yet to be like, Breye'l, by yourself. Like, by yourself don't mean away from your husband and then with your
Yes.
brother. It means by
Yes.
yourself.
Correct. Yes. And ladies, like this stuff doesn't have to be comp mm, super complicated nor super expensive.
Right.
Okay? Want to make that real clear for anybody who's like, I don't have time, nor do I have the money. I've got this business that's growing that I'm starting. I'm having to do all of this. I got all these bills. I've got 10 kids. I've got 5 kids. I've got 1 kid. And my life is all like whatever. And I've got a husband who acts like a child or whatever, right? Or a wife that acts like a child,
Yep.
whatever it might be, right? Life it happens. And none of this has to be super complicated or super expensive. Quality time can be something as simple as saying, I'm going to lock the bathroom door.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab if you're a whatever your favorite drink is, right? A glass of wine, a cup of tea, sitting into a luxurious bath full of bubble bath or bath salts or whatever, have a
Mhm.
book, have your music going, dim the lights down or shut the
Yep.
lights off, light a candle and relax. That can be your quality time. It doesn't have to cost you anything more than what it takes to buy some bath salts,
Right.
right? Or it could be that you're like, nah, I need something a little bit more than that. So let me go book a hotel for a day and a half
Yep. That's what I did last
that
Sunday.
has a spa,
Yep.
right? And go and get a massage and be able to sit in my, hotel room all day long if that's what I want. Or maybe I go down to the hotel restaurant and I have a good drink and I meet somebody new, right? And just a random stranger, let's have a conversation, right? That can be your quality time. It doesn't matter which one you are, maybe there's somewhere in between, right? Maybe quality time is you going out into nature, right?
Yeah.
Just for a walk, right? And if you're a person that I want to bring up a couple others because you may not be a person who's physical touch or quality time. Let's say your words of affirmation, for example. And this one's real important because I'm finding that there's a lot of people out there, way more than I thought, that are actually words of affirmation people. And what I find is, and this actually like hurts my heart a little bit, is
Hmm.
that because people have it so twisted that the love languages are how they receive love from others and not from themselves. You find a lot of people who have words of affirmation that they are constantly seeking external validation,
Facts.
right? Because they are constantly saying, well, if I'm receiving love in that way, if I receive love through words of affirmation, then it has to come from out there.
Right.
And if it doesn't come out from out there, then I'm screwed.
Right. When it's
And
like,
you're not.
right.
Remember, love languages are about how you receive love, not just from other people, but from yourself. How often are you telling yourself that you are kicking ass and taking names and you are rocking this,
Right. Right.
right? You are rocking it and you are amazing. How many times are you standing in front of your mirror saying that to yourself and
Yeah.
truly believing it?
Yeah. Mirror
Believing
work
it.
is something serious.
Yes. So just understand that whatever it is that you need, right? And remember, this isn't something that you desire. We're as humans, we are programmed for connection. But I think what people tend to once again get twisted is that it's connection with other people. And really, what I have learned this year is that it's not just about connection with other people. That's actually a bonus.
Right.
Everything that you need is inside of you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And it sounds
Right?
cliche, but it's true.
It's so true. It's so true. You need to be able to find that connection with yourself. Some people call this, having a connection with your higher self. And that's beautiful. However you want to describe it. I'm less about how we label things
Mhm.
because there's so many words mean so many different things and
Right.
people have taken certain words. I feel like nowadays we've turned into a society that's kind of like um that's kind of like a philosopher that I studied when I was in college.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if anybody knows Kant, Kant. If you don't know him, please don't start studying him because he will confuse the hell out of you because he takes words that you believe you know, but he has a completely different definition of how he's using it. So nothing makes sense.
Right.
And it just takes a long time to decode and interpret what it is that he's saying. And I kind of feel like that's where we are as a society right now, that we've
Facts.
taken things and we all have different definitions for the same word. So I don't want anybody to get hung up on labels and how you're calling it and all of that. What's important is how you're feeling about it.
Yeah.
And does it serve you to do it? Does any practice serve you to do it? And if
Yeah.
it does, keep doing it. But
Yeah.
if it doesn't serve you, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. And
And
this
that,
goes for everything. This goes for stuff for your business. If something is not working in your business, look at and see, is it the car that's no longer serving you
yeah.
and that you need to buy a new car? Or is it the engine that is no longer serving you and we just need to replace a part?
Yeah.
But you also need to understand too that like in honoring ourselves and honoring what it is that we need, we allow for the universe to show up for us,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? We allow it to show up for us and actually like help co-create this whole thing.
Yeah. And when you said allow, what really popped inside my mind was the question of, are we even making space for the universe to come through? That was a
Mm.
slap in my own face.
Mm.
Okay. That was really it. That was the, because when you want that relationship so bad, you go on like that little first date, and we've all been there, right? The
Yeah.
first date is equivalent to like when you get that first like energy thing. That
Yes.
first time when you maybe get that first crystal, or you meet that one extremely intuitive friend and they talk to you and you're like, mind blown, right? It's just like that when you meet that first date. And here it is. Maybe you were a person where You're like, okay, I don't cook before you met him. I don't really cook, and I don't care if my bed's made up before I leave. And then you go on that first date with him, and he like, oh, I love a woman that cooks and makes her bed up. God dog it, if you ain't cooking and making that bed up every freaking day, moving forward. But the universe says, just feel good. Make the space for me. Sit down in some quiet time, and that's how I can connect with you. That's if you got the monkey brain, if you ripping and running, if you doing all this and all that, I can't make the space. You can't make the space for me. The same way, if you want that guy and you're busy all the time and all that, he's not gonna have time for you. But see, we can make the space, and I'm literally speaking about myself and preaching to myself. We can make the time and space for all of these external things, and then when they crowd our space, we're now looking for God, spirit, whatever we call it. Like, where you at though? Like, you just gonna leave
Yes.
me here in these cold streets? And they're like, but you never made the space for me. You never made the time for me. Why would I come over here and give you all of this when you've been concerned with all of that?
Right. Right.
Right? That's
Yep.
like the upgrade. So it's like we're always faced with that next level. And I'm not even talking about like, oh, you got your dream house and now you got a dream of a bigger house. Not that, but the journey. Because what I find is oftentimes we become like, it's a term for it, but like destination based.
Yes.
Right? If I just sign 10 clients, if I just make 6 figures, if I just get married, if I just have the children, I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? Done made the 5 figures, done started my own business, done quit the 9 to 5, done got married, about to have a baby. Don't get stuck on the destination, okay? Life continues to get ghetto.
It really does. It really does. You're always going to turn around, and there's always going to be one more thing that comes up to square you. And
Yeah,
this is where I remind people, like, life is not a point A to point B.
facts.
Life is a spiral up. It's a
Mm,
spiral up. And as you go up, something's going to happen to you halfway up that spiral, and you're going to continue going up and around, learning all the way
yeah.
new things, new tools, new skills. And you're going to come around to that point higher above it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Higher above that initial like moment, that initial obstacle or whatever. And you're going, and that's the universe saying to you, check it, check yourself. You
Yeah,
learned between then and now, you have learned all of these things on your journey up.
yeah.
Now, are you brave enough and are you courageous enough to use them?
Mhm.
Or are you going to fall back into old patterns and show up in the exact same way as
Yeah,
you did before? And this is exactly what we're talking about when we say, are you ready for your emotional upgrade?
right.
Because it takes maturity, it takes experience, it takes you willing to show up for yourself differently than you have before, which
Yeah,
is an upgrade, right? Which is an upgrade,
right.
and actually do better because now you know better. Now you have better tools,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is the hard stuff, guys. Like, this sounds real easy, but obviously, like, put it into practice. Like, this is where I'm like, being a monk would be great
Right.
because that means I just sit on a mountain, you know,
And
in
just
a in
chill.
a in a real nice place that's beautiful,
Yeah,
not being bothered by anyone.
yeah, yeah,
Not being bothered by anyone. It's when you come down the mountain and you start interacting with people, that is where all of those lessons and things, that's where now you have to put it into practice.
yeah. Or if you're the person who desires to always be down with the people, because I'm telling you, it's me. I'm the one that enjoys being down with the people. But then when
Amen.
when spirit's like, now get up there and go be the monk. But
So
I
that you
can
can
go
come back down
halfway.
to the people and show them what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes, yes. I'm telling you, it's so interesting how It really is that, because I remember, honestly, Abigail, I remember being in a space, especially like 2017, 18, where I enjoyed meditating. I enjoyed all of those things. And then now it seems like, again, the hardest thing to do, like the hardest thing to just chill out and take a break. And it's not even, I would prefer to just be on my computer and but it's the, okay, yeah, you're not actually working, because this is a funny part I see with women in business too. We say we're creating and growing our dream business, and we're on social media all day, but you ain't posting no posts of value in 2 weeks. Okay, right? So, we feel like we're busy. We have the monkey mind, and we feel like we're going and going and going and going and going and going. And when you have to stop that, it's literally like an 18 wheeler. That's what my brain feels like, an 18 wheeler that's flying down these Tennessee mountains. And I experience it all the time, right? The brakes is smoking.
Yes.
They're smoking. Okay. And now it's like, you have to slow down, right? If not, everybody's gonna die. And that's how it starts to feel when we start to feel overwhelmed, when we start to feel all of these emotions in your mind. And I know some women are listening to this can resonate. You start to think about how you can become the active killer and the active shooter and get away with it.
Mm. Oof. Yes. So this is really interesting, because I've had this thought a lot, especially early on in my work, where I was hearing people say, oh, I just need to slow down. I just need to slow down. And for them, slowing down meant they just needed to stop for a bit. Like, they needed to, like, take themselves away from everything. They needed to just kind of, turn off their phones and stuff like that. And I can't remember when exactly it was, but I remember is you guys don't judge me. I was I was watching Fast and Furious,
We like
and
it.
I thought, what if slowing down doesn't mean stopping?
Right.
What if slowing down means that we get so good at driving down the mountain, that at such fast speeds, that, like, we know our vehicle so well
Yeah.
that it feels like 100 miles an hour feels like 30.
Right. Feel like you're cruising, even though,
Yes.
like when you're in an airplane, right? Like the airplane has to go so fast or it would drop out the air. But when you're up there, you just feel like you're
Like,
floating.
it's just one. Yeah. So what does this mean for us then, right? That means our world can be spinning, 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 right? Not spinning out of control, but going really fast, right? You've got emails to send, you've got product to make, you've got clients to receive, you've got whatever, 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 whatever. It never stops.
Right.
But the part that slows down is inside of us,
Mhm.
where we get real quiet inside, and we're watching as everything looks like it's like in the Matrix, right? Where everything is just so fast, but you're like, I know exactly what I'm doing. Click that email, send that text, answer that question, say yes to that product shipment. And now it's time for me to go home and be with my husband and kids, or my wife and kids, or whatever.
Right.
Right. So what what ends up slowing down isn't actually slowing down in the general sense of the word. It's that you're so on lock inside of your own mind. Your mind is in such control with your heart that your ego doesn't play a role. Your
Yeah.
ego isn't in survival mode anymore. What your ego is doing is helping you with that confidence, helping you with that, that white man, embodying that white man thing, right?
Right.
It's got other jobs to do instead of sidelining you,
Right.
sideswiping you, and making you operate out of your fear, lack, despair, scarcity, all of that stuff,
Yeah.
which is where most people are,
Yeah.
right? And we don't want to be there. We want to be in that space where you're like, thank you, ego, for helping me answer that question, because that was a really like stupid question, but I don't want to I don't want to make people feel like they're stupid. So thank you for helping me answer that question without making them feel stupid. At the
Exactly.
same time, you're like, I know exactly what's happening. And when something occurs that is not in our plan, right? When an obstacle arises, when a wrench gets thrown in, when shit hits the fan, you're not all of a sudden like ducking, right?
Right.
You're not trying to like avoid it. You're saying, okay, I am so here. I'm so in alignment. I'm so centered that it's like, yeah, that's inconvenient, but
Right.
I know exactly how I need to operate in order to fix it. I don't know how to fix the problem because the problem just just
Right
appeared,
there. Yes.
right? But I know me, and I know what it is that I need to do to keep myself healthy, to keep myself happy, and I've got support, and I've got what I need, and I'm just going to fix it. Like, I'm gonna expand my mind, expand my heart, come at it from a place of openness, of receiving and gratitude, and we're gonna fix it.
Yes, yes.
You
And you
know?
said it so powerful too, like keeping, right? Of course, we can't be 100% all the time in a sense, but there is a difference, and we all must admit that you start to see the little signs that you should have meditated over here. You should have showed some gratitude over here. You could have had a little more confidence over there. You could have used the big word no over here. You start to see those little things, right? And instead, we allow them to pile up. It reminds me of when Rich, my husband, we're gonna call him Rich because that's his name. When Rich and I was it's so funny because I remember before I got married, I like always kind of like never wanted to be like that. My husband, my husband, my husband. But it's like once we know each other and you hear me call him Rich, his name is Rich. Like we normalize calling people by their name versus like trying to make other
Thank
women feel
you.
bad for not having a
Yes,
husband. Just taking into consideration, it could trigger them, you know.
yes.
But Rich and I was doing some marriage counseling because I ran into a marriage counselor at a woman's event, and then she was just hosting something. So she's like, "You and him should come." It was virtual and stuff like that, and that was one of the things they were talking about when they were speaking about like communication and how some people are like the pursuer in the argument, and some people are like the withdrawer in the argument. And when you think about us as individuals, sometimes those little miscommunications within ourselves, they pile up in the same way, and then here it is now, all of this energy because we neglected these 5 things, and then it turned into 7, and then next week it's piled up and it's 8. Now all 8 of these energies are chasing after us,
Yeah.
right? And now we're trying to figure out, how can I continue to run from this when what you're teaching is, nah, baby girl, it ain't no more running.
No.
Because if you keep running, it's like an avalanche, right? It'll just, the snowball effect will just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the
Yes,
discomfort,
and that all of the things that are really that you're actually running from are all right inside of you,
right? So
right?
you never can really run from them.
No. So all of those tasks, all those things that you got behind you that you're sitting here worrying about, that you're letting pile up, really you're not letting those things pile up. What you're letting pile up is the emotions that you're having.
Mm,
Something's irritating you and you're just not dealing with it. What's irritating you? Why is it irritating you? How can you make it stop irritating you?
yeah,
Why are you frustrated? What's frustrating you back here? Like, what is causing you to feel frustration? What is it that's back there that is causing you to feel disappointment?
yeah,
What back here is causing you to feel shame? What are you ashamed of?
yeah,
Right? So don't let the emotions sit. You want to actually listen to them. You want to figure out what it is that's causing them so that
right,
you can shift it. If it doesn't serve you, if it serves you to be in shame, to be in lack, to be in scarcity, to be in disgust, to be in frustration and irritation, then I am the first person to tell you, keep going. I'm always for If it serves you, then keep going. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, there are a lot of people out there. There's a lot of energy workers. There are a lot of therapists out there that tell you that all of those quote unquote negative emotions, that they do not serve you ever. And I thoroughly disagree with that. If it wasn't going to serve you at some point, then they wouldn't exist.
Right.
We are here as souls on this planet because this is a free will universe about duality.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the lesson that they're teaching you and then moving on to the next lesson, which means that you're not sitting in it. There's a lot of people that will sit in their healing, they will sit in their trauma, they will sit in whatever negative, thinking, well, I just need to sit in it and sit in it and sit in it. Except for you forget that you're supposed to learn the lesson and move on.
Yeah.
Move on to the next thing, the next
Yeah.
part of the duality.
Yeah. Which is like the gratitude aspect piece of it that you were saying. Like, because sometimes I just think about like guilty pleasure of mine. Y'all don't judge me. I enjoy watching my 600-pound life. I am
Yeah.
obsessed, like 5 days a week, put it on the TV. I can watch it and never get tired. And all the time, people have gained all of this weight due to emotional trauma in whatever way, shape, or form is right there. And that is a physical manifestation of sitting in the trauma. And it's not until the person seriously decides that I'm not going to sit in it any longer that just deciding not to eat this food today, deciding to just go to the gym, deciding to get up and walk, right? Dr. Now doesn't require them to lose 100 pounds in 6 months, in 2 months, right? He simply asked, you need to lose 60 pounds in 2 months. And with the strategies that I'm giving, you could easily lose more than 60 pounds, but I'm giving you this grace. And so what you've taught me today is that those small steps, that twofold switch up of writing down the fears, sitting, and then the gratitude piece is I was 600 pounds, right? Now I got to come to your doctor's office. And then the prescription is gratitude. And sometimes we want to sit in it because we think the solution is this huge thing that has to happen, when the solution can be something as simple as gratitude, something as simple as getting back to the point of like in the shower. I was thinking about it this morning, that like, I don't know if it was Supreme Justice Lady or something, but they had that little meme going on when she was like, I'm reclaiming my time. And that's what came to me this today, like reclaiming our time. And that's the shift. That's what gets us from sitting in the gunk and experiencing that next level. And of course, the next level in our minds could be, okay, well, I'm ready to get my 6 figures, or I'm ready to move out the country, or I'm ready to do XYZ, where that normally doesn't unfold the next day,
Correct. Correct.
but feeling good does.
Yes. Yeah. Feeling in a way where you're like, I'm confident that that can happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put any time limit on it. I'm simply going to make the steps that I need to take every single day to get there.
Yeah. And those steps are, like you said, it's the inner white man.
Hmm. Yep.
It's the inner white man. And that, I'm telling you, that part right there was so powerful too. And I hope they tapped into that, because as women, sometimes we can be lazy. Sometimes we can feel
Everybody can be lazy.
right, right.
Even
Like we
even
can
the
feel
white
like
man can be lazy. But
facts,
yeah.
facts. But I'm gonna be honest. The Caucasians came over here, stole the whole continent, and just been running it. That's not quite lazy. Okay. That's not quite lazy. But I do feel like as women, sometimes we're under the impression that it should just be a given that we
Mm.
have successful businesses, or like society has put us in this instant gratification mindset where it's not as instant in real life as we think it is. Now, some things can be, as long as you're open to the universe to surprising you. And like you said, opening up these doors that you thought, okay, I just, attract two women to me today. And then the universe is like, girl, you've been doing good writing down your gratitude stuff. So I'm going to give you six.
Right. Yes. I love that you bring up the global programming, the societal programming, which is a completely different episode. But yes, honestly, I 100% agree with you. But this is exactly why there are, that programming is exactly why there are only the women who are like listening and on their way to listening and finding you
Yeah.
that are the ones that are listening and finding you.
Yeah.
Because it's not that, because I 100% agree, Breye'l, that one day you will be talking to the whole world. However, like there's going to be people who don't find you because they're stuck in that mindset of like, it should just come to me, that
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything in order to get it, that I don't need to think outside of the box and be
Right.
creative, that I don't need to be in alignment with myself, that I don't need to be in gratitude, that I don't need to um, have my structures in place.
Mm.
Right? That, we can just kind of wishful think it. And, we've been through so much that,
It should just
you know,
be mine.
yeah. And believe me, guys, like I 100% understand that. And there are definitely days when I'm like laying in bed going like, I feel like the universe should just give it to me. I had a hard week. It's just like, how about somebody just drops like $10,000 into my account right now? Like that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and then I hear my guides and Sora saying to me, since when did I not have to work to create this universe that you live in, that I
Mm.
made you out of? When did that happen? That I didn't have to do some work in order to create this? And I'm like, well, I guess if you had to do some work, I guess so should I.
I need your guys to come over here and talk to me too. He's giving it to you raw.
And I'm like, okay, I hear you getting up. I'm getting
Giddy
up.
up.
I'll post today. I'll send that email. I'll send that
Fine.
invite.
I'm telling you, it's such um, it's such a beauty, right? To know that even when times feel down, times always feel up, and ups feel so amazing. It is so beautiful to walk in our purpose. It is so beautiful to work on ourselves and know as we work on ourselves, we build these connections, we make these conversations, right? We have because this is how I look at it too. Y'all gotta want homegirls who go to Egypt. Y'all gotta want homegirls who creating businesses. Y'all gotta want homegirls who tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You have to want these things. I know Beyonce told us no new friends, but that's not how it works. You
Right.
have to want women like in some type of connection that even if we never talk again,
Right.
we should be able to hit each other up in 5 years and be like, hey, Abigail, you remember me? We're like, yes, I remember you,
Absolutely.
duh.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We should want these because this is the definition of becoming more. You and I are not looking to take anything from each other. This conversation was full of
Full
giving.
giving. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes. And yes, you bring up such a good point. I think the last tip that I can leave anybody is this too shall pass,
Yeah.
guys. Like if you're finding yourself in a moment where you're like, I'm stressed out, I don't know what to do, just hold on, this too shall pass, and you will get through to the next thing. You need to have practices, habits, good habits in practice. You need to have certain things that you do every day that you may not feel are essential, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, taking 5 minutes to journal in the morning or to meditate, to have your morning routine be I make some tea or some coffee and I sit by the window and I just look outside.
Mhm.
Or I turn on some music while I'm showering and I say my affirmations. These things can seem negligible. Like
Yeah.
if you forget it, no big deal.
Yeah.
But the
Very
thing is like
minuscule.
Yeah, but the thing is that these things center you. They provide you with a foundation, a structure, and they get you through to the next moment.
Yeah.
So that phrase, this too shall pass, is true.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up sitting in the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so just remember that, like, it doesn't matter where you are in the creation, the growth, the becoming more. Number one, like, let's just put it out there. Every single one of you listening, watching here today, like, you are becoming more. Every single day you are breathing, you are becoming more.
Right.
Right? Every single day that you choose to wake up and grace the world with your beauty, you are becoming more.
Yeah. The question is more of what?
More of what? Yes. Yes. And that, the beauty of that question is it's all up to us. We get to freaking choose. And that is like amazing.
This is why I started the series.
It's completely our choice. And I absolutely, absolutely adore and love that you're creating, Breye'l, this group of women, this beautiful community that is exactly like you're saying, that you can speak to each other once, and maybe you have, it's a decade that goes by before something else comes up, but it doesn't matter. It
Right.
doesn't matter because the energy was felt there. The
Yeah.
love was felt there. The
Yeah.
unconditional love. That it's not about what you got or what you didn't or what was said or whatever. It's simply my heart being connected to yours, and that we recognize and truly see each other for what we are.
Yeah.
Two badass women who are killing it in this game and just doing the thing.
Yeah.
We're doing the things, right? And we're living our best lives regardless of what's happening. And everybody that's listening, I already, like, know, I feel it. There's some of y'all out there that are, really feeling amazing. There's some of you out there that are not so much, and some of you out there that are right smack dab in the middle, and you're like, I'm not really sure which way I'm going to be going because,
Right.
the planets, right? Right? But what I do feel from every single one is a transcendence,
Yeah.
that each and every one of you are up for what it takes to transcend all of the bullshit.
Yeah.
And so if you're a words of affirmation person out there, let me just tell you, you've got this. You are transcending. If you're a person that needs a good hug, feel our hugs coming to you. If you're a person that needs that quality time, the gifts, we're right here gifting you, sitting down with you for this conversation. I'm so, so happy that you're here. This has been absolutely amazing. And I hope that people learned a little something, that they were like hit a little bit by something. And I hope that they let us know how things went.
Yes. Oh my goodness. This was great. And if I can leave a last pointer off of what you said, like you said, it's practice and it's habits. And J. Cole said this, and I must tap into the lyrics myself. Like, if practice makes perfect, I'm practice's baby.
Yes.
Right? And we have to recognize, to be consistent in like meditating is practice. To be consistent in growing your business is practice. To be consistent in journaling is practice. In anything that you want to strive to be as close to perfection as possible, it's practice. No one just wakes up, even like you gave the example of the monk. No one just does it and it's all great all the time. Life and becoming more, especially as women, is a journey of creating new habits, because it's only from creating new habits that you reprogram your mind. That's the only way you can make the shift, because the world has already given us one programming. You have to reprogram yourself like a computer. You can have the hard drive, but you can reprogram that hard drive and put a whole new system on it. And so that's what this Women's Becoming More series and a challenge. It'll be a 3-day challenge in June, July, and August that I'll be running a Facebook group where we'll be striving to help the women see that you can even become more in business, but it totally takes practice. So, Abigail, let the ladies know where they can find you.
Oh God, I love everything that you just said. Yay! So good. Um, you can find me on IG. That's where I am primarily. Breath of Life Healer,
Yep.
or Breath of Life underscore healer. There we go. Um, it's the blue check marked one, so easy enough to find.
She's
Um,
certified, y'all.
Thank goodness, because I was like, it's really hard for people to find me. I feel like so now it should be easier. So Breath of Life underscore healer is where you'll find me. On there. If you're a TikTok person, I will admit I'm working on my TikTok game. It's not great yet, but you can find me there. It's Abby White 989. So that is that. And of course, my website is probably also the easier place, honestly. So that's breathoflifellc.com. And there you can find my bio, and you can find my courses, and you can find my services and my products that I make and the whole thing. If you're interested in working with me, I have the gamut of ways to work, from workshops to courses to individual one-on-one mentorship or 90-minute sessions. The individualized, like, short sessions are evergreen. You have Everybody has access to my calendar all year round. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have about that. My courses, I have um, a whole set of courses that I call the Mystery School of Health, and it's called the Mind Over Matter series. One is open for registration now, and I run it multiple times a year. This is all about personal healing through the personal chakras. And we work on everything from getting rid of poverty and anger and fear and all of those more emotional, energetic things, as well as all of the acute and chronic diseases that are everything from, your diabetes and hypertension to, Crohn's disease and skin conditions and
Yeah.
all of that. So we go over literally everything in that. My Mind Over Matter 2, which starts in June of 2023, is all about the ancestral bloodline work.
Mhm.
So we are going to be looking at past lives. We're going to be looking at healing them. We're going to be looking at our ancestors and the gifts that we've received from them. We're going to be looking at how we can figure out our path and purpose based off of our own blood type. We're also going to be, because I was in another lifetime, I was initiated by Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary through the goddess Isis. At
Oh,
Philae, I realized that I had some memory of some things in sacred sexuality and the breath work, and how to really embody our sacred feminine and our divine feminine, and really bringing that out and realizing that we are the teachers in
yeah.
this world, no matter who we are. And so I will be teaching that in that as well. So it's all about blood and water and how powerful those two forces are, and about lineage.
Yeah.
And so that will be starting, and I'll run that a couple of times a year as well. So
Wow. That's so cool. That
it
type of
is.
stuff is so cool because it takes us knowing, especially for a lot of us, we've been in a space where we're unaware of what the lineage is and what that looks like. So, ladies, if you're interested, you just honestly just follow the queen. Just follow the queen. If you see nothing right now, just give her a follow, okay? Because I'm telling you, her words, her mindset, as you've seen from this episode alone, right? We only can squeeze so much into an hour, but the conversation has been so mind-boggling and shifting because again, that's what it takes when we become more, and this is what it takes when we connect on a deeper spiritual level and trust both of us when we say it's these energies that you need to really take your business to the next level and not lose your feminine energy in the meantime. Because trust me, you can make all the money in the world and then you turn into a white man. And you don't want that. Okay?
Correct.
You want to stay in your divine feminine. So, if this podcast episode was everything you needed and more, share with a friend. Leave us a review on wherever it is that you are hearing any full message, snippets, anything of this message. And again, Abigail, I thank you so much. This has been so beautiful. It has been so mind changing for me, and I know for the lady as well. So until next time, ladies, again, it's been Breye'l and Abigail here on the Create and Grow Your Dream Business podcast, and we'll speak with you soon. See you later.